Hey, Eagle Run 23 here. Quick video on some handle care for your tools. This is a handle off of a shovel, and it's one of those spade shovels like this. But I've removed the handle. And we're doing a full restoration on it. But while I had this in the vise here, I wanted to talk about taking care of these. This one is dirty. It's probably several years old, but there's nothing wrong with the wood. Now, when you grab your shovel or your rake and you feel those ridges coming up, which there's ridges there, and you can see them along the grain lines, and those ridges start to stick up. On this one, it's not so bad, but I'm sure you have an old shovel somewhere that the ridges are coming up. I have a rake that we're going to be working on later that I'll show you more about that. But the easiest thing to do here, and you can see the shine here, there is a little bit of polyurethane that's just old that was on here. Removing that as well as the paint, and we're going to boiled linseed this handle. And what I like to use is actually just, this is a cheapest pocket knife off of another video, and I keep an edge on it and I use it as a card scraper. It works great at removing that paint and that varnish, and it just takes a second. And then after you've done this and you've got it all cleaned up, you can hit it with some sandpaper. So this works really well at taking down those ridges, and it also leaves a really smooth finish that you could really just leave it like that, which I did on one of my handles for a little sledge on a hammer. I left it carded, didn't even sand it. But this one I'm going to sand because I want to make it super smooth. And so a little bit of work here, and it will be ready for some sanding. You can see mostly what's coming off here is you have the little shreds that are from the varnish, and then you have a lot of dirt. It's just dirty grime, and then of course you have the paint that comes off. But this is a really quick way to remove this. It doesn't take very long. It's really easy to do, and on a cheap knife, this knife was $5. I just run some stones over it, keep it sharp, and works really great for this task. Okay, so we've got this scraped down to a level where it's ready to sand, and I'm going to use just some Hunter grit. And while I've got it mounted up here in the vise, there are a couple of rougher spots. I'm going to go back down to some 80. Alright, now we'll go back down to the 100. So I've got this really smooth. It's looking good. Now, you don't have to take your whole tool apart in order to do this. There's nothing wrong with sanding down those rough edges while you've got it still mounted to the shovel. This one's getting a full restoration, so I have it taken all the way down. Now we're going to boil linseed oil it, and we're going to go ahead and do the entire piece of wood. Now you won't be able to reach these parts when you're just leaving it on the shovel, but that's fine. Just recondition as much as you can. It'll make it last a lot longer either way. So go ahead and just get that boiled linseed on the part that you can see, and then this part down here will just have to do its best. It won't last forever, but it will last a very long time if you keep it moisturized. So let's get some boiled linseed on here. All right, so this is some just hardware variety oil, linseed oil. They do make some higher quality stuff that doesn't have the chemical dryers in it. I have not tried that stuff. I've only just used this, so it works really well. You want to get a coat on there, let it dry, and then go ahead and hit it again. Make sure you do get the end grain as well. All right, so that looks really great. I love the way that it looks with the boiled linseed oil. It just really makes that wood pop. So it's pretty easy to take care of your tools, keep them clean. Once it's oiled, you're going to want to hit it again, even a couple times during the season when you're using them. And definitely in the off season, go ahead and sand them down and get a couple extra coats on there. There's actually a rule of thumb, which I have never done, but I've heard this before. You want to oil it 3 times when you first do it, and then you want to do it once a week for a month, and then once a month for a year. And that will fully restore and rehydrate your wood. I've never done that before. I think I probably should try it. I've shared that on here a couple times, so I guess I should probably give it a shot. And like I said, I've got a wood rake that's coming up in a restoration that would be a good one to test that on. But we're going to go ahead and give this a couple extra coats here, let it dry in between. But taking care of your shovels and your wood handles is not too hard. That's all I got. Eagle Run 23. Thank you for watching.